Hello, my name is Sherrie. I'm an artist, and welcome to my YouTube channel.
Okay, so here I am back with some cringe-worthy sketchbooks. This one, I don't know if you can read, there's a lot of light in here, so it's real shiny. This one is from February 27th, 2003 to August 30th, 2005. So this is 15 years ago that I completed these these sketchbooks. So yeah, this is the first page. While I was doing this sketchbook, I went through a couple of different boyfriends, moved from Florida to Pennsylvania. So within those 2 years, I went through a lot in my life, and I figured I'd just share it with you. And this right here says, when I sketch in a sketchbook, I draw on one page at a time, and I only leave that page when I'm totally satisfied with the sketch. I never go back to the previous drawing to try and fix them because they are already done. And this page here says, within these pages lies my life and my true love, which is always will be art. With this, I will never be alone. I have created a world of my own that no one can take from me. These creatures and places need to be poured out onto canvas and paper for my own sanity. This is an ode to the demons that are dancing in my head that make me draw, paint, and sculpt. Through great suffering springs great art. Through great art, I thrive. And that is a quote from me. So this beginning is just me doodling, and you'll notice, like, I know that most artists on YouTube tend to fill up their sketchbooks with like really bright and colorful things, and I just do like one thing at a time, and I hardly ever draw on the left side. I was taught a long time ago not to do that because stuff bleeds through, or if you make marks on one side, they'll show up on the other, that type of thing. So yeah, this is just me doodling. And these were wings. Let me show it this way. These were wings that somebody wanted on their back, a tattoo of. So I drew those for them. And this is an idea that I had for a comic book about zombies during the Civil War. The real reason why Sherman burnt the South. That never came to fruition, but it was a good idea at the time. This is a really terrible dragon that I drew. And then these were a children's book that I got to work on, called Scraps versus the Alien Squirrels. It was a lot of fun to work on. Unfortunately, the publisher ran out of money before the book could be produced, but I did some sketches for that in here. So this is the alien squirrel, and it basically was about a dog like trying to defend himself against, trying to defend his family against alien squirrels that only he could see. Which is the reason why dogs go out and bark at trees, and it was a really cute story. So yeah, that's the alien squirrel, and he had his little ray gun and antennas, and he was green. It was cute. This is his ship. It's shaped like an acorn, of course. And this was the dog. That's a really terribly simple cartoon dog. Oh my god. Okay. Then sketches of, really happy squirrels and a dragon for some reason. Another sketch of an alien squirrel. And then this was the original sketch for the cover, which I don't know if you can see. There's a dog down here. It's a backyard. There's trees, and there's these alien squirrels that are appearing in the trees, and the dog's trying to, defend his family, because that's a dog's, job. And then I marked in here the moment when I broke up with one of my ex-boyfriends who was kind of abusive, and actually he didn't want me to work on artwork. He thought it was really stupid. So me doing this children's book really caused a lot of chaos in our life. And so this was the moment that I moved out, and instantly my artwork became better. So, and I think that's the moment when I wrote that first quote about my art on the first page, because I just felt I had to break up with him in order to be more creative, because he didn't want me to. So yeah, so I drew this panther, which turned out to be a sculpture that I did and gave to one of my friends. And then this page here, I've always loved skulls, so for more than one reason. I mean, skulls are, not only what you're left over with when you pass away, it's, the fundamentals of like what lies beneath the skin when you're drawing, and I have a whole collection of skulls. So yeah, skulls are very important to me. So this says, things of nightmares do wander through the human subconsciousness. It's our choice whether we want to run from them or embrace them. And yeah, that was, and then this is like a death shield that I made. And then alien, they always creep into my sketchbooks. So, and this is my character Rhea Hawk. In my sketchbooks in general, there's a lot of me working out like her backstory, her origins, her, what has happened to her, working out like how she looks and what she's wearing, and so I have like lots of little notes with her and the other characters from her story, which I'm sure are in here too. So yeah, so that's Rhea Hawk. She's part human, part dragon. It's a whole big long story. I don't want to get into it. I'll share that in another video, in a future video. This was a helmet that I had seen at an SCA event. The SCA is Society for Creative Anachronisms. It's a medieval recreation club. And some guy had made this, and I thought it was very cool and predator looking. So I drew it. And this is Judicari, another character from my Rhea Hawk story, which is called, by the way, Skulls and Black Lace, and I'm currently writing it, and hopefully within this next year it'll come out as a novel. Okay, so this was a commission of Purgatory. That's this character's name, in case you don't know. And she was supposed to be sitting on a gargoyle. So I had drawn her, and I had drawn her too large to put in the gargoyle, and then I drew the gargoyle, and then I transferred both of them to a larger sheet of paper and did the commission. So I do a lot of that in here too also. So this was it Captain Marvel? I don't know. But yeah, it was another commission where the guy wanted her to look beat up, but not that beat up, but still like to be pushed into lockers. I'm like, okay, whatever. So yeah. And then there's Batman. And Batman creeps into my sketchbooks too a lot. So, this is Jordavian. He is the god in one of the gods in my Rhea Hawk story, Skulls and Black Lace. He is like the head of the god of gods, like the Zeus, or yeah, I want to say Anubis, but it's not Anubis. Ra, or he's like the head guy, and the rest of the gods like all sprout out off of him. Or like there's Eva, who's the goddess that falls in love with him and stuff like that. So, and he's really, there's two different faces to him. So this is him when he's good, and then there's him when he's evil and his face turns and gets older and just gets all gnarly and stuff. So yeah, anyways, this is another picture from my Rhea Hawk story, of her and a dragon. And I did this sketch so I could paint it, and I started painting it and never finished it, which was always my thing back then, just to not finish paintings. And I really wish that I did. I really regret not finishing most of these paintings. So there's, I don't know, somebody's butt and upper torso and a skull and a dinosaur. God, I was so bad at drawing back then. This was two faces that I was doing for a commission, and it really wasn't in my style, so I really didn't like doing this. It was more like abstract, and that's why I have this little fantasy guy going die, and stabbing the head, because I just really hated doing this. So, and here is Radavian again. This is when he was good, and so he's younger looking and more handsome and not like old and gnarly and evil. So, this one I believe I did for MegaCon. MegaCon, when you set up at a convention, usually you're given, usually the customers are given like a booklet with like your name in it and where you are, what booth you're at and stuff like that. And this one wanted artwork along with your name. So so I drew her, and of course I transferred her to another sheet of paper and to do black lines around her and stuff. So, and this says, ink blots stain the page, black and bloody. I can't seem to get any work done. I'm tired. I can't sleep. My hand has a mind to draw while my body tries to rest. I can create. I can always create, but my bed is calling me in. And it says, grr, can't you tell I'm fierce? And it's a little dragon. And then this is, yeah, we're just gonna skip this page because this was me late at night, like suffering from insomnia, just doodling stuff like a squished mogwai and cottage cheese man, and it's just okay. And this was me trying to write, okay, and of course saying a swear word. And then I wrote, can't write, evil bunny rabbits staring at me with their bloody, beady little eyes and toothy grins and blah. And yeah, so I did a lot of that in my sketchbook. And of course I skipped pages like crazy, and I don't know what that was. And I was trying to draw, and then that dragon stole my pencil again, and yeah. So, and dragon, and more ideas for comic books, because I was really into comic books at the time. This was the first set of models that I actually had. I actually hired them. I paid them money to come and take photos of them. It was really, really a great experience. And I have tons of photos still that I work from to this day. And it was a lot of fun. So yeah, I did a final piece of this years ago. As you can tell, this is how I transfer things. So what I do is I'll draw out something, and if I like the size of it, if I don't like the size of it, I'll scan it into the computer and print it out bigger or smaller and, you know, transfer it that way. But usually if I like the size of something, then I'll transfer it this way. And what it is basically putting graphite on the back of the paper and laying the piece of paper over another piece of paper and tracing it. And transferring that method, it works. I've tried other methods. I've tried light boxes and graphite paper. Graphite paper is really, really messy. And even though I'm making my own graphite paper, it doesn't seem to be as messy as the graphite paper is. And I'm really messy when it comes to doing art, so the less mess that I can create, the better. So that's why I do this. And it just takes a couple minutes. It doesn't take that long. This was a sketch of a horse that was taken from a picture by, I believe, Boris Vallejo, or Vallejo, sorry, Boris Vallejo. And I just added the unicorn because I thought it would be really neat if it was like a different type of unicorn, like a rhino unicorn or something. And so yeah, I did that, and then I created this guy. This is a octopi dragon, which this is the face, and then this was the body, or what I thought the body would look like with instead of, you know, being like a sort of like a Loch Ness type body on it with a toothy alligator type head and octopus tentacles for a tail. And it says it swims through darkness into high seas tales with mermaids to tempt sailors and giant whales to eat ships. So yeah, and there's a picture of me when I was young, and I don't know what that was. And predators killing an alien, as you do. And then this was going to be for a t-shirt design that I was hired for, and the person never came through with the money, so I stopped. It was actually going to be a set of t-shirts, and they were all going to be demon girls, and it was going to be the symbols for the horoscope. So it was going to be 12 t-shirts, and this was going to be Gemini, and I was just going to take and reflect her on the other side, so there were two of them. But the guy never came through with the money. So this is one of my favorite characters. Her name is Dawn. She's done by a guy named Joseph Michael Linsner. And she creeps into a lot of my sketchbooks too. I just really love the way he draws women, because they're so realistic, and, you know, he's a comic book artist, and you think comic book artists would make women, you know, really skinny and long legs and, you know, these impossible bodies, and he actually makes them very realistic, and I appreciate that. So yeah, there's her. And me skipping pages again. Here's a picture of my cat Goblin. I don't know if you can see this that well. It's really light, but she was squishing a frog, which had gotten into our house, and I just thought she had the cutest look on her face while she was doing that, and it was very awkward and very cute, but very, like, horrible at the same time. And me skipping pages again. Okay, and this was a picture of me, actually, in a costume that I had made for the conventions. And I wore this costume quite a bit. But yeah, that's just, it's such a horrible drawing. Because this was supposed to be realistic, and it's not. And me skipping pages. And then this is when I first met Tommy Castillo, who became my mentor, my art mentor. And so he was working on Batman, DC Comics Batman at the time. He did like, I don't know, he worked there for a couple of years, I think. And then he had worked on a comic book called Toe Tags with George Romero. And so I drew him, you know, zombies attacking Batman with, you know, saving a girl and in a graveyard and all. I thought that was really cool. So I don't know what that was. That's just somebody crouching down. A face of a goblin. And then this was because I was still living with an different ex-boyfriend of mine. And I had broken up with him, and because of financial reasons we needed to live together for like 6 months. So until I could gather up enough money so I could actually move out. And so this says, behind the mask of anger is a face full of tears, suffering to be happy. And this is how I felt at the time. And then this is just me doodling death again, which death is a big subject in my Skulls and Black Lace, the Rayhawk story. So death stares at me with one eye from afar until that fateful day when I will have to step up to his eternal dance. Yeah, I was such a happy person back then. Okay, and this is a dragon with a really odd shaped butt. This was gonna be like a genie coming out of a broken bottle. This, it's sideways, but this was an octopus, a giant octopus ripping apart a ship. And that's a dragon, and I think, well, maybe, okay, that's another dragon, and like a sacrifice girl there, and just some random girl. These were like ink blots that I just came up with and painted in little shapes, and God, these are so cringy. This is after I moved up to Pennsylvania, and so I could actually get mentorship from my friend Tommy. I started going out in the woods and like taking pictures of old buildings and old ruins, and because there's so many of them up there. And this was an old wall that had been broken down, and I just loved the texture and the rocks and stuff. So I had drawn that, and I don't know what that is. There's a goose. Plants and trees. Again, there was a building back here, and I think there was water over this way, and just all these plants. And then I tried to like zoom in on one particular branch of a plant. And then this is from a graveyard up there called the Easton Cemetery, I think. And they have all these old statuary things, and I used to go there all the time to draw because the statues were so beautiful. We don't have things like that in Florida. We have very flat, plain graveyard, or I shouldn't say graveyard, cemeteries. And up there, they're just so beautiful, and they have these big monuments and stuff. So when you can't afford to go to a museum, you go to a cemetery, because that's, you know, that's where they have statues and stuff. And this is a clockwork heart or something, and 2 arms, and I think that's it because my book got wet. I think that this was me spilling Coke on it. And so, okay, that is it. And for this one, I will go through other sketchbooks at a later date. Okay? Alright, see ya.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.